Okay, my dear friends, I need a favor from you today. And it's not anything that's going to cost you money, and it's really very simple and easy to do. And it might be the blessing that someone is looking for. I just need you to like, to comment, or to share this video. And it's so simple. All you have to do in the comment section is just thank you. It really helps us with the algorithms of the YouTube. It means we get seen by a lot more people. So post a comment. If you have a prayer request or a question, you can post that as well. I'll be sure to answer them. It will help us and it will help the world out greatly. Thank you. You are a blessing to us and to the world. And until we see each other again, God bless us all. To start our service today, let's have a reading and opening treatment. Today I'm using my book, Whispers of Heaven. And in it I wrote, I express love in such a manner that it will warm the heart of humanity. It brings confidence, faith, and hope to everyone I encounter. This warmth goes from me and it heals every situation I'm presented with, not with words or with actions, but with the energy of loving thoughts. So now let's put these words of wisdom to work in our lives. We do it through affirmative prayer. I'm going to do this prayer in the first person. Take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me today. There is but one God, one mind, one power, and that power is perfect love. And that power is flowing through me here, now, in this moment, just as I am. Just as I am, the love of God pours through my heart and soul, allowing me to lift my eyes to a better knowing for myself, to lift my eyes from the turmoil and stresses of this world and keep them firmly affixed on the goodness, the kindness, and the compassion of God flowing through me to my life. So here today, I know something better for myself. Here today, I know I'm in life to enjoy, to have goodness and kindness and compassion overflowing. This is my truth. I celebrate it. I rejoice in it. And I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. My talk title today is Our Birthright. You know, we've come to life with certain guarantees, and those divine guarantees are for goodness and for our freedom. We've come to life so we can have these experiences. We are here to know of God's greater possibilities by means of us, through us, and for us. Now, God has no need to experience lack or limitation. So there's no need for us to have those experiences either. And the only good that can come from those experiences is for us to see them in our rear view mirror and know that we plus God have made that possible. That's what we're here to do. We're here in life to experience the joy of living. And even in this pandemic, even in this time of crisis, there are things that we can be joyful about. One really good thing that I've noticed happening is I think we've come to realize that we can be happier with a lot of the things that we already have. That we don't need to be chasing after all the material things the world tells us that we need in order to be happy. I've been very grateful the past couple of months, noticing that friends are calling on me more and checking in with me more and having longer conversations, really connecting more. I'm also grateful to see all the paper products at the grocery stores. In our house, cooking or the nightly dinner has become something of an event. And even when we just have to grab what's remaining in the cupboard to put something together, we're taking our time. We're not rushing off to places somewhere, and we're enjoying spending time. So as we go through this crisis, now's the time for us to step up and to be the people Spirit has called us to be. We all have had an inkling of the greatness and goodness within our soul, and now's the time for us to step up and to live through those possibilities. Through us, God experiences our lives and our goodness. We are necessary for God to be God. Without us, God would not have the experience of us. And Spirit is grateful that we signed up to come and have this experience, to be on the cutting edge of creation. I don't know if you've noticed it, but life on earth can be tough. And in this place of low vibration, we're channeling the possibilities of God through us. Even with all our strangeness, even all with the little nooks and crannies of our personality, particularly the nooks and crannies of our personalities. It's in our broken places that God is able to shine forth. God does not need us to be perfect. God just needs us to be human. And God is available. Spirit is available to us to help lead. Dr. Holmes, the founder of our teaching, he said it will guide and guard us. And as Jesus said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. But we've got to do the answering. Jesus is not going to barge into our life with a pizza and take over. We've got to be the ones that create the Christ consciousness. We've got to entertain the Christ consciousness in our lives. When Jesus walked the earth, his ministry was about healing, encouragement, and inspiration. So if we want that Christ consciousness energy in our lives, we have to have a consciousness of healing, a consciousness of loving, a consciousness of compassion. If we want to attract this consciousness, we have to be that consciousness. And then we've got to set about to do something with that power. It can't be power to us until we recognize it and put it to use. We have all the power of the universe available to us, but we have to use it. It's like having a Maserati sitting into your garage on blocks. Until you get that puppy out on the road, you're not putting it to use. We want to use the power and goodness of God to make our lives and to make the world a better place. We're here to experience it. In the spirit world, we learn about the power of spirit. But in the physical world, we experience it. It's the difference between reading a romance novel and having that experience of it. And when you have that experience of it, it becomes the truth for you. And no one can talk you out of it. And until you have that experience of it, no one can talk you into it. When we lived in Atlanta, we lived close to Emory University. And we were there for a long time. And so we would get to know some of the students that were coming through the university. There was one young woman that I was particularly fond of. She was very brilliant. She was interested in politics and international relations, and the two of us clicked very, very well. She breezed through Emory like I would breeze through a yellow light. She did so well there that after she graduated, a British university came looking for her. They wanted her in their graduate program, and their graduate program was for international relationships. I was so excited for my young friend. I just could envision the possible life that she was moving into, of getting this international degree and going on working in the Foreign Service perhaps, or working at an embassy, traveling the world over. She got to Britain and she was doing very well at the university. It was no problem for her. And then she got into a relationship with a Welsh guy. And at first we heard a little bit about him, and then that's all we were hearing from her was about him. And of course, her friends, we were excited to meet him, and she brought him over from England. I think I was kind of looking for a Tom Jones. You remember the singer in the 60s? He was a Welsh guy. And I hate to tell you, but I was disappointed in this young man. First of all, he wasn't nice to my friend at all. And despite of what all the British movies I've watched throughout my lifetime, he had little charm. In fact, he was to go on and really almost destroy my friend's life. She pined over him so much, she almost had an emotional collapse. And all of her friends here in the States, we did everything we could to try to keep her going. We tried to encourage her to see what her future life would be, all the wonderful work she'd be doing, the sophisticated people that she'd be meeting, but it was to no avail. She just could not see it, and she had given away her power. Now, we do this all the time. I can find myself watching a pharmaceutical commercial on television, and suddenly I start having a pain or ache in the place that they say they can cure it. We give our power away. And God will not do for us what we can do for ourselves. It won't make us into robotics, because there's no learning in robots. We're here to learn. And Spirit is not going to break down our free will to help us. We have to do it for ourselves. We must grow in our strength. It's very much like the chicken with a young chick trying to break out of an egg. There's a big temptation to try to help the little chick break through the egg. But if you do, it won't become strong enough. It won't develop the muscles it needs for future growth. This is the same with us. There are some things that we must do in our lives, and we must do them for ourselves. And as we grow through these challenges, we stepped into our partnership. This is the purpose for our journey, to be in co-creation with God. We need Spirit, and God needs us. God is consciousness, and in the spiritual realm, we commune with Spirit. We become so enamored of God's love that we volunteer to come here so that the flesh can be made manifest by love. So we're here to experience the freedom in love. God can contemplate love, but we're needed to breathe air into it. We do our part, and then we can rely on God. This is the covenant we have with Spirit. I do my part, and I can turn the rest over to God. You know, some people will have what they call a honey-do list, where they make up different projects for their partner to accomplish. Well, I have a God honey-do list. There are things that I'm turning over to God because I don't have an answer for them. And so I just have to turn it over to Spirit and rely on Spirit's help. The other day I was at the grocery store and I was turning out and I saw actually a family begging for money. And it was, I think, a dad, but he had his young adolescent daughter with him. I assumed it was his daughter. And my heart broke for this 12 or 13-year-old girl that had to be on the side of the road begging for money. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should give the money. Would that be encouraging them to keep using her in that way? I didn't know what to do. So I've turned it over to God. Now I do my prayer work for her. I see that young woman getting in the right school system, getting the right teacher that can encourage and support and encourage her. I see her finding her passion. I don't have the answer to every problem. I do what I can, and I kept my eyes lifted to a better knowing. Our journey is to bring the love we feel in Spirit to the material world. And this is a huge thing. In fact, we're on a mission from Spirit to recognize and give gratitude for the glory of love and compassion. It's a remarkable thing. In fact, it's miraculous that there's love and compassion on earth. There's so much fear and anger here that for love to bloom is like the rose growing up through the concrete. Like Aretha Franklin sang in Spanish Harlem, there's a rose that blooms in the most unlikely of places. I heard this wonderful story that happened before the epidemic. Elderly lady had gone to one of those buffet restaurants. She had gone in for an early dinner. As she got settled, in come 3 strapping young guys from the college. They were coming in for a late lunch. They saw the elderly lady there by herself, and they asked would she like to join them. And even though there was a racial difference there, they did. They got together. The elderly lady has adopted these guys as her grandson. And the other day I heard a report from them that they have made sure, as we've gone through this epidemic, that she's kept what she's needed, that she's been supplied. When we recognize and give thanks for the love of God, it expands through our hearts and our souls. And this is the water. This is the water from the well that if we drink, we will thirst no more. My teacher, Kennedy Schultz, he said that the more you get, the less you'll want. Because it's really not about the getting at all. It's about being in relationship. It's about being co-creative with Spirit to bring Him out as much good as we can through our thoughts and our prayers. Our prayers are needed. Our prayers are vital right now. So as often you can, throughout the day, do your prayer work. And you'll start immediately feeling better. You cannot say a prayer and not feel better for having said it. And that's the reason we say the answer to the prayer is in the prayer, because it will immediately start making you feel empowered and encouraged and invigorated, knowing that you have this power flowing through you. So please start a prayerful life. Step into prayer. If you wake up in the middle of the night, do prayer work. Before you put your feet on the floor, when you wake up in the morning, say a prayer. This is something in Judaism is talked about. And this is a good time when you put your feet on the floor to do a prayer of co-creation with Spirit. Envision the day you're going to have. And then all through the day as you brush your... So in your car, do your prayer work. It doesn't have to be big. It isn't something that you have to announce or tell the world. What would Dionne Warwick said? I say a little prayer. A little prayer can bring about great blessings. Spirit is waiting on us. We're not waiting on God. God is waiting on us for us to open our eyes, for the blessings around us, for us to realize how powerful we are, how much of an impact we can make. So in your prayers, pray for a new heaven, a new earth. Pray that we are stepping up into our strength. Pray that we are becoming the people that God has called us to be, not weak, not wounded, but strong with our compassion, ennobled with our power and our encouragement. We are here to bring about a better place, to make the world a better place for our having been in it. Spirit has faith and confidence in you. Now's the time, and we're the people, and we're up to the task. It's the truth in your life today. It's the truth in mine, and so it is.
All right, here we go. With a little love, we can help it out. We can make this whole damn thing work out. With a little luck, we can lay it down. Can't you feel the town exploding? There is no end to what we can do together. There is no end. The willow turns his back on inclement weather. We can do it. We can do it. just me and you. With a little luck, we can clear it up. We can bring it in for a landing. With a little love, we can turn it on. There can be no misunderstanding. There is no end to what we can do together. There is no end. The widow turns his back on inclement weather. If he can do it, we can do it. Just me and you. With a little push, we could set it off. We could send it rocketing skyward. With a little love, we could shake it up. Don't you feel the comet exploding?
Let's close our service with affirmative prayer. So join with me now in knowing something good for ourselves. There is but one God, one mind, and one power. And this power is flowing through me, with me, and for me. Here today, I put this power to work in my life. And I do that by seeing only good around me. I do this by looking for the blessings of life and affirming them, giving gratitude for them. And as I do this, this power multiplies. My eyes open to the greater expanse of love and compassion of God's goodness in my life. And I can move out into my world confident. I can move out with strength. And I can move out with boldness, knowing that Spirit is with me and for me, and that I have a power guarding me and protecting me, lighting my path. So here today, I am not weak, I am not wounded. I am strong with the power and the love of God. I am strong with the confidence, knowing that that which created the universe is creating my life. And I can celebrate joyfully, and knowing I have this power with me and for me. It's my truth. I celebrate it. I rejoice in this right knowing. And I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my dear friends, know this final truth with me. Your life, it's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, to proclaim your miracle, and to make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle God has called us to be. This is Reverend Ken. Until we see each other again, many blessings.